This palace was constructed in 1395, was the main royal palace of the Joseon dynasty.
It was home to numerous kings and an estimated 3,000 residents, including the royal family, court ladies, soldiers, and servants.
The vast palace complex, spanning over 40 hectares, features a series of smaller palaces, each with a specific purpose, such as the kings and queens' living quarters and offices for state affairs. Inside the palace, we witnessed the changing of the royal guard's ceremony. The rhythmic drums and colorful uniforms brought history alive.
It is incredible to see how well South Korea preserves its traditions. The atmosphere was festive, like Seoul itself was celebrating its history. I was surprised to hear a young girl call her parents Amma and Appa. It sounded so familiar. Yes, those are the exact same words for mom and dad in Tamil, a language from southern India, considered one of the world's oldest classical languages, still in continuous use. Historical theories suggest that the ancient Tamil Pandya kingdom had active sea trade routes with Korea 2000 years back. Because of these ancient ties, it is believed that hundreds of Tamil words become woven into the Korean language. It truly felt like walking inside a living museum.
We wandered through the courtyards, taking photos near ancient drums and grand gates.
The immense courtyards were designed for important state ceremonies and to accommodate large gatherings, reflecting the grandeur and authority of the royal court.
Despite being destroyed during the Imjin War and the Japanese occupation, the palace has been meticulously restored, preserving its historical and cultural significance for generations to come.
The palace's central location in Seoul was a deliberate choice, establishing it as the heart of the capital city, Hanyang.
This created a beautiful contrast between older traditions and modern buildings, which is a key part of Seoul's unique feel